Hello everyone, my name is Risanjoy Alagos and now I am going to discuss the language in education policy evolution. Language in education policy evolution. The Philippines language in education policy has evolved with the imperatives of the state and its institutions. Over time, and the policy embedded in the fundamental law defines the tenor by which government responds to the educational demands of the time. And during the Spanish colonial period, our school system had Spanish as the official medium of instruction. The use of Spanish language is extended to civil and business. During the short-lived First Philippine Republic, the 1899 Malolos Constitution made Spanish compulsory in public and judicial affairs. And during the American period, English replaced Spanish as the official state language and the language used in commerce and trade. And eventually, the post-war establishment of the Philippine Republic precipitated also shift in a language in education policy. But as early as Commonwealth period, former President Manuel L. Quezon had already envisioned a national language based on Tagalog and lingua franca of his region and his mother tongue. Article 8, Section 3 of the 1935 Constitution. The National Assembly shall take steps toward the development and adoption of a common national language based on one of the existing native languages. Until otherwise provided by law, English and Spanish shall continue as official languages. In response, the First National Assembly approved in November 13, 1936, Commonwealth Act Number 184 mandating the creation of the National Language Institution or NLI. On December 30, 1937, President Quezon signed Executive Order Number 134, Series of 1937, proclaiming the national language of Philippines based on Tagalog language as recommended by the members of the NLI. The said executive order would precipitate initiatives for full policy institutionalization, namely a national language based on Tagalog, the institutionalization of the Tagalog-based, the national language then called Filipino found traction during the Japanese occupation when it was used as the language of the propaganda, bringing the language to areas where it was not even spoken, much less understood. However, the National Language Project was not without opposition as there were more on non-Tagalog speakers in the Philippines at the time compared to Tagalog speakers. Article 15, Section 3. The language divided that pervaded for decades was left unresolved even after the passage of the 1973 Constitution. Article 15, Section 3, which provides that the Batasang Pambansa shall take steps towards the development and formal adoption of a common national language to be known as Filipino. Nevertheless, the provision didn't serve to calm the unrest among majority non-Tagalog speakers over the non-feasibility of the provision because of an artificial language. Filipino lacked both native and a literary tradition to help propagate it. In the light of the 1973 Constitution, the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports, or DEX, released DEX Order Number 25 Series of 1974 entitled Implementing Guidelines for the Policy on Bilingual Education, which serve as the basis for the institutionalization of bilingual education policy in basic education. The bilingual education policy aims at the achievement of competence in both Filipino and English at the national level through the teaching of both languages and their uses as medium of instruction at all levels. The regional languages should be used as auxiliary languages in grades 1 and 2. The BEP is sustained in the succeeding language policy as embodied in the 1987 Constitution with the following goals. Number 1, to enhance learning through two languages to achieve quality education as called for by the 1987 Constitution. Number 2, the propagation of the Filipino as the language of literacy. Number 3, the development of Filipino as the linguistic symbol of national unity and identity. Number 4, the cultivation and elaboration of Filipino as a language of scholarly discourse, that is to say, its continuing intellectualization. And number five, the maintenance of English as an international language for the Philippines and as non-exclusive language of science and technology. Filipino and English shall be used as medium of instruction, the use of allocated to specific subjects in curriculum as indicated in Dex Order number 25 series of 1974. Section 7 of Article 14 of the 1987 Constitution provides for the inclusion of regional languages as auxiliary official languages that can be used as an auxiliary media of instruction. Section 9 of Article 14 underscores the promotion, research, development, propagation, and preservation of Filipino and other languages. In the light of the new constitution, the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports issued Dex Order number 81 series of 1987 containing the alphabet and the guide for spelling in the Filipino language. The order stipulated that the Filipino alphabet is composed of 28 letters comprised of the original 26 letters of the English alphabet plus the letters of Inye and Inji. On August 25, 1988, President Corazon Aquino signed Executive Order number 335 enjoining all government offices to take steps necessary for the purpose of using Filipino language in official transactions, communications, and correspondence. On August 14, 1991, President Corazon Aquino signed into law Republic Act 7104 creating the Komisyon sa Wikang Filipino, which is the task to undertake, coordinate, and promote researches for the development, propagation, and preservation of Filipino and other Philippine languages. On May 13, 1992, the KWF under Ponciano B. Pineda passed Resolution 92-1 describing Filipino as a native language, spoken and written in Metro Manila, the national capital region, and in urban centers in the archipelago where it used as a language for communication among the ethnic groups. Like any other language, Filipino is evolving as it draws from other native and non-native Philippine languages and their varieties as is used in various situations by speakers for colloquial and for scholarly purposes. In 1994, President Ramos signed into law Republic Act number 772 creating the Commission on Higher Education, and in 1996, the Commission issued CMO number 59 series of 1996 which states that in consonance with the bilingual education policy underlined in Dex Order number 52 series of 1987, the following are the guidelines vis-a-vis medium of instruction. Number one, language courses, whether Filipino or English, should be taught in that language. Number two, at the discretion of the HEI literature subjects may be taught in Filipino, English, or any other language as long as there are enough instructional materials for the same and both students and instructors or professors are competent in the language. And courses in the humanities and social sciences should preferably be taught in Filipino. On July 14, 2009, the Department of Education issued DepEd Order number 74 series of 2009 mandating the institutionalization of the mother tongue based multilingual education in the Philippines basic education. In 2010, the new administration under President Aquino introduced a major education reform via the K-12 program, and in 2011, he signed into law Republic Act 10533 which subsumes the provisions of DepEd Order number 74 series of 2009 in sections 4 and 5. Yet the most compelling argument for shifting the language in education policy is the outcome of the bilingual policy, what has been in place since 1974. While the 1987 Constitution takes notice of regional languages as auxiliary languages, the bilingual education policy is effect is patiently English and Filipino only. The Asian Development Bank and World Bank in a study pointed to dismal performance and poor mastery of reading and writing skills in Filipino and English of students under the 1987 BEP, which allows use of regional languages as transitions languages in grades 1 and 2 only. The study, however, pointed out that the failure of the BEP is not due to the resistance but stems from its operationalization, which includes factors such as teachers' competence, teacher upgrading, instructional materials, support, the same issues that now attend the implementation of MTB MLE within K-12.